Good morning, everyone. I'm Lizanne, and welcome to the beautiful island of Lemnos in Greece. I'm here at Clover Retreats running a lovely women's retreat. We've got wonderful food, everything's magnificent, and this morning I want to teach you a little gentle flow. Good for the morning, good for the evening, and just something to get the body moving, something to open everything up, get that prana flowing. So I'm going to grab 2 blocks, and I will meet you on your mat. So I want to remind you that this is your practice, your body. So if something doesn't feel right, please don't do it. And listen to your body. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I'll be happy to help you with whatever you need. All right, let's start lying on our back body. And we're gonna bring 1 block with us here. You're gonna bend through the knees, place the feet on the floor nice and tight. So see if you can tickle your heels. If that causes any pain or discomfort in your knees, just walk your feet out just slightly. And I want you to press the low back into the mat, which lifts the tailbone up. And then we're gonna exhale, the tailbone's gonna go down. We're gonna make a little gap in the low back. Let's do that a few times. Inhale. You're closing the space from the lower ribs to the hips. Exhale, we're opening that space. Just rocking a gentle sort of morning release for that low back. All right, do that 2 more times. Tailbone goes down, little space between the low back. And then press the low back down, lift the tailbone. All right, 1 more time. Open that space up. And then this time we're gonna press down, start to press into the feet, lift the hips all the way up. Open through the heart. Can you lift the hips a little bit higher? Squeeze the legs. The energy of the thighs are drawing in towards one another. And then we're gonna start to lower down. Start with the upper back, mid back, and then low back starts to lower. And then we're gonna drop that tailbone down. Let's do that again. Inhale all the way up. Sweep it up like a wave. Exhale all the way down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Okay, we're gonna add the arms now. Thumbs face up. Next breath in, lift the arms up and overhead. Your little thumbs are gonna come back behind you. Exhale, lower all the way down. 2 more times. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Last one. Press the low back in, lift all the way up. And then staying here, we're going to take that block and send it under your hips. So it's not quite, it's on your sacrum, a little bit on the flesh of the glutes, so that you feel like you can rest the whole body in. If you've got it too far under your back, your butt's gonna pop down, and that's gonna be really bad for your back. And if you've got too much under your butt, you're just gonna sink off of it. So find that nice sweet spot here, and then pull the right knee in. Now stay here if you already feel a stretch here, or if there's space, can you lengthen that other leg long? Take a breath in, and a breath out. We're gonna find a little movement here. We're gonna press that heel all the way to the sky. If you have a strap, you can also put a strap around that foot. And then exhale, bend it in. Press it up. This is really good for the lymph nodes in the back of the knee to give them a little massage, and then through the hip. If you've got a lot of swelling in the thighs, or if you've just come off a flight, this is a great exercise. And you can also do this without the block. Let's go 2 more times. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it in. Last one, lift it up. And then we're gonna lengthen it all the way long. Bend the knee, place the foot on the floor. All right, other leg comes up and comes in. Maybe you lengthen that right leg down. Ooh, that's way tighter on this side. All right, Then we press all the way up and all the way in. And I want you to notice as you press or where you're meeting that tension in the body, I never want you to go sort of past your body's edge. There's a place that you're sort of meeting your body where you're at. And if you go beyond it, it'll be painful and you won't do yourself any good. And then if you don't go deep enough into the stretch or into the work, you're not actually going to make any more progress. So you need to really decide sort of where your limits are, what feels good in your body. I mean, our bodies are wonderful. They tell us everything. All right, one more time. Big breath in. This time we're going to keep it in. Now, depending on your block, these foam ones are a little wobbly, but I got it. Pull the knees in, and then we're going to lengthen both heels high. Feel the weight sinking into that block below. So I want you to visualize maybe even like a pillow on your feet, or if you're home, you can even do this later, and put something heavy on your feet so that energy really exaggerates that pressing of that energy, that sinking down. So good for calming the body. Big breath in. Long breath out. All right, knees come in, and then nice and gently, I'm going to place the feet back on the floor. Firm little feeties, and then lift the hips up, remove the block, come all the way down. Hug the knees into the chest. I want you to push the shins into the hands, but not like push them away, but push the energy in. We're going to start rolling up and down, and then all the way up. I'm obsessed with these stretches, so we're going to do these today. Let's pull the right leg in, left leg goes long. I want you to take your hand to the outside of that thigh, and then we're going to reach up and over, open through the heart. And then exhale, we're going to saw off those little toes. Reach for those toes. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, reach. Inhale, up. Exhale and reach. And then I want you to grab for the thigh, the shin, or maybe the toes. And again, if you've got if you have a strap, maybe you put that strap around that foot, but feel that nice big stretch in the low back. This is going to really help with any pain in through the hips or the back body. This huge muscle, your QL, gets pretty tight. So let the head sink. See if you can try to keep the heart open here. I know we all like to round in like little turtles, but can we try to keep a little strong heart so we get that stretch in the right spots? Take one more deep breath in, and then let go. We're going to take this little hand back behind the other thigh, and we're going to sweep it up. Nice big stretch for the hips. And next, come on down. All right, let's switch legs. Hand on the outside of that thigh, and if depending on your flexibility and the knee straight doesn't feel good, block can go under the knee, block can go under the hand. I mean, use your props. They're extensions of our body for a reason, and we're all shaped differently, and, you know, find out what works for you. Inhale, reach it up, big breath in. Exhale, fold and reach. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, fold and reach. Inhale, reach it up. All right, this time we're going to stay. Exhale, fold and reach. Maybe you find that little foot. Maybe you've got that strap. And I want you to think about turning the shoulders towards that thigh, and you're finding that opening here in the back body. Big breath in, and instead of folding all the way down, think about lifting up through the heart and folding from the hips. Really root the sit bones down. Little tuck of the chin. One more big breath in. Then we're going to inhale, big stretch up to the sky. That hand's going to land, and we're going to sweep it all the way up. Big breath in. And then we're going to bring it back down. Let's find a tabletop position. Hands spread nice and wide. Try not to hyperextend the elbows. That'll just create a lot of tension in through the chest. So soften the elbows. The little turn out. Even widen the fingers or turn the fingers out. And then we're going to drop the belly. Tailbone's going to lift throat's going to lift. So you're creating space from the throat to the pubic bone, and then you're closing that space. Crown of the head, tuck the tail, inhale, open back up. Exhale and round. Now we can get a little more creative with this. I want you to start to breathe in. Where are you tight? If it feels good, maybe you press the right rib cage and then the left. You can also inhale and come forward. Mindful of the low back here. Try not to sink into it. Keep the belly pulled back if you open up. And then exhale, come back. You can make little rolls with the spine as you come forward and then back. And you can stick to that cat, cow, whatever feels good in your body. I want you just to have a little bit of a free movement here. Either opening everything up for a nice start to your day or getting out any tension that you may have created at work or wherever you were. And if you want, as you exhale, you can even tuck those toes, lift the knees back to that downward facing dog. And then inhale, land the knees, open through the heart, maybe come forward. And exhale, tuck and lift. All right, let's take about 3 more breaths wherever you are. All right, last breath in. Exhale, find that neutral spine. So crown of the head reaches forward, tailbone reaches back. We're going to take our hands a little bit closer together. You're going to take that right leg forward. So I love using blocks for this. Take the hands on blocks and sink the hips forward. So there's also a thing about stretching in yoga and falling into your joints and just sinking in. So if you are a hypermobile, not like if you are a hypermobile person, it might behoove you to press back just a little bit to keep that lift, because you don't want to sink in and overstretch the joints. But again, it's a fine balance. So if you're sinking in and you feel that nice quad stretch, perfect, that's where you want. But if you're sinking in and you're sort of feeling your joints, I'd like you to pull back just a little bit. So find that, a little pull back of the belly. We're always dropping that tailbone, not always, but we're dropping that tailbone down. A little lift of the heart here. Take a big breath in, and then we're gonna straighten that front leg. We're gonna move here. So toes up are great for the back, for the hamstring. Toes down, if you suffer from shin splints, if you're a runner, that's gonna not feel great, but it's gonna be great. All right, inhale, we're gonna come forward. Exhale, we're gonna press back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale and back. This time we're going to come forward and stay. We're going to leave our left hand on the inside of that left foot. I'm going to tuck the back toe. Your knee can always stay down, but I'm going to lift it. Press up, squeeze that glute. Right hand's going to find the right thigh. We're going to little twist of the spine, or maybe lift it all the way up. Think about when you're twisting, thinking about the crown of the head and the tailbone, and then it's like a little corkscrew. Turn the chest towards the right. Maybe you've got space to sink in, or maybe you're pressing up, lifting the belly away. Find a little more twist. The heart is coming higher. The big toe mound of that back foot is pressing. The energy of the thighs are together, and then it's the twist. Take one more big breath in, and then nice and slow, lower that back knee down. Step back, tabletop. Hands come back down. Let's find a cat-cow. Let's rinse that out. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, round through the spine. Inhale, open through the heart. Exhale, tuck the toes. Find a down dog with a generous bend in the knees. Can you let the heart melt down towards the thighs a little bit more? And then exhale, land the knees. Hands are going to come to the right side of the mat. Left foot is going to step forward. Find the blocks under the hands. Ooh, this side is tighter. Ooh, all right. Find where you want to be. Find what feels good in the body, and then we move. Inhale, open through the heart. Exhale, straighten through that front leg, hip goes back. Ooh, inhale, open up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, open up. Exhale, sink the hips back. Inhale, draw it forward. All right, stay here. Right hand's gonna stay planted. Tuck that left toe, lift that back knee. Press that back heel forward, get a little lift, pull the belly up, and then we corkscrew that all the way up to the sky. Big breath in, long breath out. If there's a lot of weight on this standing hand, see if you can hover the hand even. Practice your balance. Woo. Take one more big breath in here. And this time we're gonna fold, and we're gonna step that back foot forward, forward fold. Always an option to have the blocks under the hand for the forward fold too if the fingertips don't come down. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, melt down. And then reach and rise all the way up. Big breath in. Exhale, hands through heart. All right, let's step that right foot all the way to the back for a warrior one shape. So back toes turn out. This mat has a lovely line on it. So I'm gonna line my back heel up with that line and take my front foot just a little bit off of that line. So I'm not on train tracks. Bend into that front knee and then reach my arms all the way up. Big, beautiful breath in. Open through the heart. And then I'm gonna exhale. I'm gonna find those blocks again. So keeping that bend in the front knee. You can always walk that back foot in if you need to. We're gonna open through the heart, find that flat back, and then exhale, fold down with that straight front leg. Inhale, bend in. Exhale, reach back and fold. Inhale, bend in. Exhale, reach back and fold. So keep moving and breathing. Having your hands on blocks is a really good way to ground yourself at the beginning of the day or after a long day when you are connected to the earth and you get that beautiful grounding feeling. Sometimes if we're feeling a bit flighty or airy and we do a big practice that has a lot of arms up or a lot of movement, it just adds to that. So if you're feeling like you need a little calming practice or something to ground you down, try to put blocks under the hands and try to keep yourself connected with the earth below, and no matter the practice. All right, next time you fold, let's stay there. Take a breath in, rise up halfway. All right, exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale and fold. All right, this time we're gonna rise up halfway. Keep that right hand planted. We're gonna find a twist. So try not to let this hip jet out that way. We're gonna keep the body exactly as it is. The twist is just gonna be in the spine. I just caught myself hyperextending my knee. So try not to hyperextend. And then it's not how far the neck goes. Maybe the gaze doesn't follow if you have any neck injuries or whiplash injuries. Maybe the gaze just stays forward or even stays down. You're just turning the torso to get that twist. Big breath in, and then exhale, land the hands, step forward, forward fold. Nice hang here. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach and rise all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart here. All right, right foot's gonna stay, left foot's gonna go back. Warrior one, other side. Inhale, reach those beautiful arms up to the sky. Big full breath in, press into that outer edge of the foot. Maybe there's room to sink a little deeper. Find that pulling of the belly away from the thigh. Drop the tailbone down. Find your balance under your feet. Take one more breath in. And then we're gonna find those blocks under the hands. And again, you choose. Maybe you step the back foot in a little bit or maybe you don't. Inhale, open through that heart. Tailbone reaches back. And then exhale, straighten through that front leg and fold down. Inhale, open it up. Bend in. Exhale, reach that hip point all the way back. Again, try not to let it jet out to the right here. See if you can keep that body in alignment. Now become aware of where you're holding patterns in your body. Depending what sports you play or what you do for work, how you sit in your chair, our bodies love to help us stay where we are most of the time. So if you always sit with your right leg over your left, you're gonna have some tension around that right hip. There's gonna be patterns that show up in your body. So just be mindful of unwinding those patterns when you're able. I take one more big breath in. And then we're going to straighten through that front leg. Our left hand's going to stay. Don't hyperextend that knee. Belly pulls in, and then we're going to turn that body towards that front leg. Maybe the arm reaches up, maybe it doesn't. Gaze can go up and down. You choose wherever the neck is comfortable. Take one more deep breath in here. One more exhale. One more big breath in. And then we're going to land the hands, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, melt down. Inhale, reach and rise all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart. All right, we're going to take our little tootsies nice and wide on the mat. Toes turn out, heels turn in. Hands come to heart. We'll find Malasana, that yogi squat. So you can always, if yogi squat doesn't work in your body, you can even sit on a chair, or you can have a block under the hips. But otherwise, sink down. Good for your ankles. Open through the heart. Big breath in here. Long breath out. And if you're super flexible, try not to just hang out. Think about rising up out of this. Find a little strength. Take one more big breath in. And we're going to take our hands back behind us. And we'll just do one last pose together. So right ankle on top of left, little figure 4. Now if pigeon pose is in your practice, you can always take pigeon pose. But I find for a lot of people that's a lot of weight loading on the joints. So choose your own adventure. That sun feels great. Little rock side to side. You can even come down on the forearms if that feels good, and do that here. You can take it all the way over. Ooh. All the way the other side. Just unwinding a little bit more. All right, let's switch the ankles. Rock side to side. I don't know what I've done. We've been doing a lot of wonderful hiking and walking, and I think that's probably building those butt muscles, going up those beautiful Greek hills. All right, just a few more breaths here. All right, last breath. The foot come down. Now, if you're getting ready for bed, I recommend you lay your beautiful body down and find a nice savasana for 5 to 15 minutes and just give yourself permission to unwind. And if you're starting your day with me this morning, I hope you have a beautiful day. From my heart to yours, namaste.